Hello and welcome back to The Art of Selling. I am your host, Chloe, and today we are going to be talking about my favorite subject, a subject I am quite well and truly utterly obsessed with. It's the art of attracting more money into your life, and we're going to be learning about what money loves. It's something that I think is a real missing piece for so many women when it comes to growing their businesses and making more money in general. And I don't mean in a tactical, write a budget, track your expenses kind of way. I mean energetically, vibrationally, looking at the habits, the mindset, and the frequency that makes money want to flow to you versus the frequency that repels it. And often people don't even realizing that they're actually repelling money. There is something stopping that flow of money coming towards you. And in today's episode, I am going to teach you how to remove those blocks, why you sometimes feel like you can't attract your next level of wealth, and how to create more flow and abundance into your life. I'm so excited to get into this episode. This is one that's taken me a while to write, and I love it. It's come up a lot with a lot of my clients recently. And yeah, it's been such a fun episode to write. And I'm so excited to be sat down and recording this now. Sometimes I feel like people can get a little mixed up. I always say there are two sides to abundance and attracting more wealth. So you've got this very masculine side of attracting money, very tactical, the world of just like work harder, close more, track everything, go, 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 go. Very masculine way of bringing money into your life. And then you've got this also very spiritual side of just manifest it and it'll come. Pray for it, be really soft, be really gentle. And I think that both of these are great, but on their own, they are definitely missing something, especially as women, 100%. And what I want to go through today lives right in the middle of those two things. The practical habits that money loves, the energetic frequency underneath those habits that make them actually work as well. Because you could do all the right things tactically and still be repelling money if the energy underneath you is completely wrong. And I've watched this happen over and over and over again in myself previously, and also in a lot of the women that I coach. And I had a really powerful coaching session recently with my coach that brought so much up for me. Being fully honest with you, I've always had quite an abundant mentality, especially in the last, I'd say, a decade. Even in my book that I wrote at the beginning of the year, I wrote in there that I just know I am going to be successful, or I am successful and I'm going to become even more successful. I just know, I just have this, I don't know, this just like inner trust in myself that I will achieve that. And right now I'm a 6-figure business owner. And to me, I'm just like, oh, I only need to add one more digit on the end and I'm already a 7-figure business owner. So I'm only one small step away. And I know that sounds so strange, but to me, it's so simple and it makes me feel really motivated. I'm like, I'm so close. I'm there. I'm basically already living my millionaire lifestyle. There's a lot of people who I speak to who have really, really bad money blocks and they don't believe that they can get there. Maybe it's because of the job they're in, or their family beliefs around money. That's a really big one as well. Like their family have always been very stingy around money or don't believe that money is a good thing to have a lot of. So today we're going to cover 6 things that money loves. We're also going to look at the energetic layer underneath all of them that most people miss. And we're going to look at 3 things that money absolutely does not love, and 4 tangible things that you can do this week to start shifting your relationship with wealth. You are going to want to take notes on this episode, I promise you. If you don't have a notepad and pen and maybe you're walking during this and you're out for a walk, get your notes app up on your phone and jot some notes down. I promise you this episode is going to change your life. I'm so excited. Let's get into it. So welcome to The Art of Selling. My name is Chloe, and this show exists for one reason: to change the way that we as women sell. So if you're a woman ready to get dangerously good at sales without losing yourself in the process and selling from your intuition rather than force, you are absolutely in the right place. So before we get into the actual habits, I want to talk to you about how most women think about money. And I say this a lot because I used to do this as well. Most of us treat money like a maths problem. Like it's purely logical. If I do enough work, I'll make enough money. If I charge this price, I'll hit this target. And I get it. And then that's how you get the target. And that's what we were taught. Work hard, be sensible, money comes eventually. It's the normal system that we're in right now, which is go to school, go to college, go to university, go get a normal job. But I genuinely believe that approach misses the most important thing. Because money is energy and energy responds to energy. And the way you think about money, the way you talk about it, the way you feel when you look at your bank account, all of that is either attracting it or repelling it. And Jen Sincero, I think I've talked about her a few times on other episodes. She actually wrote a book called You Are a Badass at Making Money. Such a good book, by the way. And she says something really interesting. She says, because money is currency and therefore, and currency is energy, when you shrink down and you lower your prices to accommodate someone, you're basically saying, I don't think you could grow and manifest the money you desire to work with me. Or I don't believe you're that powerful. I also don't think I have the right to charge what I'm worth. And honestly, when I first read that, I had to put the book down. Because there have been times where I've definitely undercharged, or there's been someone who's come to me who I didn't feel they could afford me, so I lowered my prices. And every time I think about it, I realize just how detrimental that was to me as a business owner and to my client as well. It's a disjustice of service. Like money is an energy exchange. And I was sending the wrong message to the universe about how much I believed that I deserved. So there's this coach that I'm working with at the moment. She's insane. I've worked with a lot of coaches over the last probably 5 to 6 years. I've probably spent over 80 to £100,000 in coaching. It's a lot, but it's been so worth it. If without investing in coaches, I definitely wouldn't be where I am. And I know that every person that you listen to is invested in coaches that are highly successful. It's the how you get ahead. Even Tony Robbins has invested in mentors and coaches. Like it's such an important thing. But my coach recently spoke to me about what makes someone energetically and spiritually attractive. Not physically attractive, energetically attractive. And it completely changed how I think about money. This was quite a while ago as well. And it just really transformed my brain. And also how I feel about selling as well. And why some people seem to magnetize things both at the same time so effortlessly. And the thing she kept coming back to was this idea of coherence. You know, when we are in a state of stress, anxiety, fear, desperation, that creates this really jagged, uncomfortable energy. And people feel it. They feel it even when they can't name it. You know, it's this underlying feeling when you're around someone who's really anxious and you sort of absorb some of it. It's real. Like, have you ever been around someone who's just a really anxious person and you come away from them and you feel this insane feeling of anxiousness as well? That's not just in your head, like that, their energy has transferred over to you. And then there's on the flip side, when you're also really regulated, when you're warm and you're genuinely quite grounded in yourself, that energy is also very magnetic. And then if you have that energy and you're around someone else, that energy can feed off of each other. And people can become very drawn to you. And the right people can become drawn to you. And they want to be around you. They want to buy from you. And she said something that I wrote down immediately in my notebook as well. We are drawn to the most coherent person in the room, not the most beautiful, not the most successful, but the most coherent. The ones whose energy is settled and real and present. And I thought about this immediately in the context of taking sales calls and building a career around, learning how to be really good at selling. Because I've reviewed, I think it must be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sales calls over the years now. And what I see is the ones that don't close, so often it's not the script or the price or even the offer. It's the energy of the person that's actually selling it. They have this slight desperation and it can feel a little bit like a performance, or they're trying too hard. And the prospect can feel it even when they can't put into words why they said no. Because you cannot fake energy, and money cannot be fooled by performance. It always finds its way to the most coherent version of you. And the amount of times where I've watched sales calls and within the first couple of minutes, I can tell whether that person is going to close or not, or whether they're going to close on the second call. Like I can tell based off of the actual person who's selling, based off of their energy and how they feel and how they're behaving and what their energy feels like. It's, they feel relaxed, they feel genuine versus they feel stressed and anxious. And something else that really stops the flow of money and sales in general is neediness. Neediness really does shrink your vessel. It shrinks your ability to receive. And what neediness is unconscious signal that says, I don't feel whole on my own. Therefore, I need this sale. I need it for approval. This client has to say yes to me, or this prospect has to say yes to me in order for me to feel okay. And then at that point, you're basically tying your worth to whether someone says yes to you. And you can feel that energy straight away. It's like this sense of desperation. They don't really care what they're selling. They don't really care about whether the prospect even needs it. They just want the sale. And it's this taking energy, whether or not the person intends to have that taking forceful energy, it doesn't matter because you can feel it straight away. But the antidote to neediness, the opposite of that, or the feeling that you can embody to be able to combat the feeling of neediness is wholeness, and knowing that you will be provided for regardless, knowing that if this particular client says no, the right one is on the way. And so you can show up to your sales opportunities, or you can show up to clients really, really fully present, not attached to the outcome. I recently had a friend who works on a farm, and she wanted to go to her boss and ask for a raise. And we were talking about it, and I was like, what are you nervous about? And she was like, oh, but what if he says no? It's going to be so awkward, da 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 da. And I just said, but what happens if he says yes? Imagine if he says yes. Oh, I know, but what if he says no? And I just sat her down and I was like, listen to me. If he says no, he says no. That's fine. What's going to be awkward about that is if you make it awkward. But if you wait another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, wait till Christmas, this is what she kept saying. Oh, maybe wait till Christmas. You will regret it. And then you never know if he could have said yes before. At least now he knows you're looking for a raise, you're looking for a promotion. He could always think of other ways he could give you something, because he's not going to want to lose you. You're such an integral part of his business. And lo and behold, she asked him for the raise a couple of weeks ago and she got it. She got it. It wasn't as much as she was hoping for, but he did say that by Christmas, it can go up significantly more as she takes on more responsibility, which is what she wanted anyway. And that energy, that wholeness, is the most attractive and magnetic thing there is. I truly believe he probably looked at her and was like, wow, she's got balls. Like, I love that she did that. And it makes people see you in a different light. You've actually got the ability to go, hey, I think I'm worth more than this. Is there a possibility for me to get a raise? Or, hey, this is my offer. This is what it is. And that's it. There's no discount. And another spiritual teacher who is incredible is a guy called Deepak Chopra. And he wrote this book called The 7 Spiritual Laws. If you haven't read this one as well, a really good book. I know I recommend a lot of books on here, but I do recommend reading this. And he says for you to receive anything from the universe, you have to let go of your attachment to it. Because when you're gripping something too tightly, you're vibrating at this frequency of, oh, I need this. If I don't get this, I've failed. Maybe it's your dream job, or maybe it's your dream client, or maybe it's the next level in your career. It's actually significantly, significantly harder to receive it. Versus when you can genuinely just let go and trust for things to work in your favor, it works out so much better. So for instance, my friend, she was so bothered about getting this promotion and getting a pay rise and being able to take on more responsibility that it was actually weighing her down, and it was stopping her from being able to just even ask the question. And living your life just knowing that everything that happens is a lesson and somewhat is meant to be. There's there's a lot of times that this can be quite hard to process. But, ultimately, when we look at, say, for instance, getting a new job, or maybe it's wanting to put an offer into a new house or anything like this, like actually going for something that feels scary and maybe you don't get it and it doesn't go through, rather than getting upset and feeling like the universe is against you, you look at it from a different angle. You almost say, well, it was never meant to be the house that we lived in, or it was never meant to be the job for me. I remember I said to my friend, if you ask for a raise and he says no, what would you do? Would you stay there? And she actually said no. She said no, because I believe I should have a raise. I've worked there for a year. I've done a lot of work. I was like, okay, well, there you go. You get best of both worlds. You either ask for a raise and you get it, or you ask for a raise and you don't get it and you can find something else. And it's leaning into that life of everything is just meant to be. Maybe everything is working out in your favor. And that energy, that is the energy that you need to have in your life in order to be able to attract more wealth and abundance and just let things flow. Because detachment isn't about not caring. It's about knowing you'll be okay either way. And that is the energy that money loves the most. Okay, so with all that as the foundation, let's get into the actual habits. 6 things that money loves. And I genuinely live by all of these. Number 1, money loves speed. Money loves speed. I can't tell you this enough. Money absolutely loves speed. Slow decision making, overthinking, waiting until you feel ready, all of that completely repels money. And I promise you, money moves fast. Whenever I'm like metaphorically picturing money, I picture money as this like really fast flowing stream flowing down these like huge mountains and hills and going off into like loads of tiny little streams of just thousands and thousands of streams flowing and all meeting at the bottom of this massive mountain into this huge fresh open lake where it's just mass abundance. And every single time I have invested in anything in the last, I'd say 10 years of my life, whether it be a coach, a program, a mastermind for my business, anything of like high value, I pay straight away. Doesn't have to be in full. You can do payment plans, but it doesn't matter. I lock it in. I do not let my brain come off that call and talk me out of it. Not because I'm reckless, but because I know myself. I know that the subconscious mind has a way of protecting us. It really does. And sometimes that can be a great thing. Sometimes it can be a very, very bad thing, especially when it comes to money. Because if you know that and you believe that this investment is going to get you to that next level of wealth, you have to be able to act fast and you have to have the ability. Slow decisions are very, very, very expensive, not just in time, but in the energy that will drain whilst you're deliberating. Number 2, money loves decisiveness. Slightly different from speed because decisiveness is about having clarity, knowing what you want and not second guessing it. If you're wishy-washy, even about your own pricing or your packaging or asking for a raise, like what's included or what isn't, like your potential client will feel that. They don't feel safe giving their money to someone who doesn't seem sure about what they're selling. And vice versa. This is such a good example. Like I friggin' love Apple, the tech company, the software. I absolutely love them. I think their products are just amazing, mainly because of the people that work there as well. I mean, how many times have you walked into an Apple store and they come straight up to you? You say, "Hey, I'm looking for a laptop." They just instantly know what laptop to sell you. You give them a budget. They give you all of the best things, the updates. They are so passionate about what they are selling. And they are so also very decisive about this is the money that it is. It's 2K or 3K or 5K. That's it. There's no discount on top of Apple. You could maybe get a student discount, but that's pretty much it. Decisiveness builds trust. And trust is what money runs on. And this is why Apple are so good at marketing and selling, because they don't give discounts. This is it. That is their product. It's the best on the market. Take it or leave it. Number 3, money loves belief. I have genuinely for years believed that I can make money quickly when I need to. Not arrogantly, just as a fact. Like, I know the sun will rise. I know I will have breakfast. I know I will drink 2 liters of water a day. I know I can generate income when I put my mind to it. And that belief is one of the biggest reasons it keeps being true. And even Roxy Nafousi, one of my favorite authors ever, she says, if you're willing to see all of the beauty and love and abundance that are already present in your life, you will absolutely attract more beauty, more love, more abundance to you. You have to see the abundance already around you to attract more of it. Whether or not you have an abundance of money in your life right now, you have to look around and go, I am already abundant. Everything around me is abundant. I have a coach as well who I've worked with who runs her business on 95% profit margin. 95%. So successful, incredibly abundant. And she does it all from the most feminine, lean, joyful business way. There's no burnout for sure because she's just very, very grounded in her boundaries. She has this real strong belief in what she does. And she knows that the right clients come to her. They respect her boundaries. And watching her has completely changed the way I've seen people be able to run really successfully, high profile and high profitable businesses without needing to run themselves to the ground or grow huge teams as well. Because your belief around money is absolutely your baseline. You can only ever receive up to the level of what you believe you deserve. Number 4, money loves action. Money doesn't come to people waiting for the perfect moment. Oh my God, there's so many people I wish I could tell directly to that. So many of my friends are like perfectionists, and lots of people in my circle are like real perfectionists. And it's so detrimental to scaling and being able to scale more money into your life. And it comes to people who are showing up, making mistakes, posting content, and just getting on with it. I shared in a recent episode about a sales call that didn't close. I think it was last week's episode, like how the very next day after I didn't close that one call, I closed 2 back to back, and they were the best clients ever. And I absolutely love them. And it wasn't luck. That was because I didn't let the no from the day before stop my momentum. I took action and the money came to me, and Jen Sanero, the lady that I was mentioning before, the author, she says that the real secret is you have to take huge, uncomfortable risks. You have to do stuff you've never done before to make yourself visible. Action, even imperfect action, keeps the channels of abundance open. So stop waiting for things to be perfect and just do the thing now, make the mistakes, find the errors, and build on them. That is how action is taken. If you fail, you get back up and you do it again and you do it differently. Failing, there's no such thing as failing. It's just learning. You can't fail if you've got the abundant mindset that I'm just going to keep learning. If I fail, that's a good thing. That means I'm not going to fail again. And number 5, money loves a clean energy around it. How you relate to money day to day matters enormously. Do you panic looking at your bank account? Do you feel guilty spending on yourself? Do you talk about money? You feel anxious spending it, or you feel like there's this big struggle? Because all of that creates a frequency that repels abundance. And I never, ever, ever say that I can't afford things anymore. Ever, 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 ever. You'll never hear me say I can't afford that anymore. Ever. Because if something isn't in my budget, say for instance, I'm saving up for something, or, I really want to do it, but actually it's just for me, it doesn't feel right at that time. What I will always say is, now that is not where I'm choosing to put my money right now. It's this tiny shift in language, but it's a massive shift in energy. And it says to myself, I respect my money enough to not put it there at this moment in time. And I also celebrate money arriving in any amount to me as well. So if I have a client who pays me early, or I get a refund that I'd forgotten about, maybe I'd sent a piece of clothing back a couple of weeks ago and it comes into my bank, or I get 3 inquiries in a day for my program, all of it goes into this gratitude pile that I talk about at the end of the day when I'm journaling. The more you celebrate all these little things arriving into your life, the more you signal to the universe that you're ready for more. And on that note, if you do follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I have a car with a personalized number plate, and it's actually Stevie's. It's got his surname, which is going to be my surname, Mappo, with 888, because we love the number 888. In numerology, it's the number of abundance and infinite wealth and money flowing in multiple directions. And every time I see it, I feel it. It's not this mad moment for me. I'm literally training my nervous system to feel comfortable with money, to expect it, to welcome it. And it's the same with in my office right now. If you can see, like, I've got loads of photos. I've got some up here of, I can attract anything into my life. I've totally got this. Manifest your your desires. In my kitchen, I've got a big photo that has 1111 on it with the definition of what 1111 means. In my bedroom, I've got some really beautiful photos. So the first thing I see is that. So you can find your version of that, whether it's having some photos in your office or having something next to your bed or having powerful affirmations that pop up on your phone every hour. These are things that you should be focusing on every day in order to be able to bring subconsciously bring those money beliefs into fruition for you. And the more you celebrate money arriving in any amount, the more you signal to the universe that you're ready for more. And number 6, money loves boundaries. The most financially abundant women I know have incredibly strong boundaries. They don't work for free. They don't over deliver out of guilt. They don't take on clients who don't feel right because they're scared of a gap in their revenue. When you have strong boundaries around your time, your energy, your prices, you're telling money, I know my value. I'm not available to give it away. And money respects that every single time. I had a client who I knew wasn't right for my coaching program. This was probably about 2-3 years ago. They just weren't the right match for me. They had a lot going on in their own personal life and it was consuming them. And at the time, it wasn't right for them to join, but they really wanted to go ahead. So I let them in. And because of what was going on in their own personal life, they kind of used me as a therapist. And I ended up being on the phone with them and texting them every night. I just felt so guilty if I didn't respond because of everything that was going on in her life. And 2 months into the program, she ended up having to leave. I was left feeling really confused and sad and just very, very, very bewildered. I shouldn't have let her in. It wasn't the right time for her. It was a new business for me back then. And I learned something within that client that when I don't respect the boundaries that I have, my energy is all wrong. And the right clients do not come to me. And boundaries allow you to have peace with your business. And as a woman, this is so crucial. So now that we've talked about what money loves, now let's just get into the 3 things that money doesn't love. Super quickly, but these are very, very important. So number 1, desperation. The energy of needing the sale is one of the biggest repellents there is. And people do not want to be someone's salvation. They want to work with someone so grounded in their own abundance that they could take it or leave it. So desperation is something that money absolutely is completely repelled against. Number 2 is comparison. Every time that you're looking at what someone else is charging or making and letting it make you feel small, you're leaking energy that could be going into building your own thing. So remove the comparison, keep focused, and abundance will flow to you. If there's anyone in particular that you find triggering following on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, just unfollow them for a while and see how it changes your perspective. Number 3, apology. Every single time you apologize for your price, you add in extras nobody asked for because you felt really guilty, or you drop your rate because someone maybe feels like they want a cheaper deal, you are handing money back into the universe that you could have manifested to yourself. So stop apologizing for your worth, because you cannot attract abundance from a place of apology. The two simply just cannot exist. And so now that we've looked at the 6 things that money loves and the 3 things that money doesn't love, I now want to give you 4 things that I want you to actually do this week in order to start attracting more money and abundance and frequency into your life. So number 1, audit your money language. So for the next 7 days, notice every time you say something negative about money. Maybe it's that someone invites you out to dinner over the weekend and you go, oh, sorry, I can't afford that right now. Remove that and say, do you know what? I'm focusing on saving at the moment and I really, really, really want to respect my money. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it this weekend. Way better. Makes it sound like you're actually working towards something rather than limiting yourself to say, oh, I just can't afford it right now. No, you can. It's just that's not where you want to put your money, because you could always get a credit card. It's just right now that isn't what you want to put your money towards. So reframe this, the way you talk about money, and say things like, I'm choosing to direct my money to something different right now. I'm learning to attract more. And shift that language, shift the energy. Secondly, regulate yourself before your next sales call, before your next opportunity to speak to a potential client, or before even asking for a raise. Actually regulate yourself. Take a few deep breaths. Remind yourself that you don't need this particular person to say yes. You will be provided for either way. So go in whole. You don't need to feel needy, and watch what happens to that conversation and how it flows so much easier. Thirdly, set one boundary around your pricing this week than what you've been avoiding. So putting your prices up, saying no to a discount, charging for something that you've been giving away for free. It can just be one thing. Do it and notice how it feels. And fourth, find your abundance symbol. Put it somewhere you'll see every single day, whether it be on your phone screen, whether it be on your laptop screen, whether it be a photo that you hang up right when you wake up in the morning, or anything like that. It could be a crystal, it could be a post-it note on your mirror, it could be a screensaver, like literally anything, something that just keeps you in that frequency daily without you really needing to think about it. It kind of comes into your subconscious, and every single day, if you repetitively see that, you will naturally just start to believe it's true. Because your relationship with money is built in the small moments. The decisions you make today, the things you say to yourself right now, and the energy that you choose today will shape your match with money and abundance. Now, I know I've spoken about Roxy before, and even in this episode, I do absolutely love her. And in her first book, she even says that, remember the first time you wished for things that you have now? And I love the way she said it, because sometimes we're so focused on the next level, the next thing that we want to get to, that we forget that we're already living what we once only dreamed of. And actually sit in that for a moment. Like how amazing that 2 years ago you would have wished where you are right now. You would have wished that you'd had that thing or that person in your life. All of these things, we're already living what we once dreamed of. And then go out there and build the next thing from that place of already having, not from this place of lack. I have loved recording this episode today. I honestly love talking about abundance and wealth, because as women, it's only recently in the last 30 to 50 years even been acceptable for us to even have an income. And now we can earn even more than ever before, but in the most feminine and beautiful way that suits your life. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, please leave a comment in the section below, whether you're listening on Spotify or YouTube, just telling me what you loved about the episode, and if there's anything else you want me to cover, particularly around abundance or sales. And if you could, it really helps if you subscribe to this channel. It helps this podcast grow. Who would need this? And reach more amazing women. And if you're ready to learn how to sell from your intuition and fall in love with the art of selling the things that you love the most, you can DM me the word ready on Instagram at Chloe Tucker, and I'll send you more about how I help women do this inside the art of selling. I will see you next week. Bye.